Hello, everybody. We are 2 as 1.
I am Karen,
I'm Andres.
and today we're going to talk about dating apps. Is it a yay or is it a nay?
We have the numbers, we have the statistics.
Is it possible to find love online, or is it just a dangerous place to go and meet people?
Apparently, it's possible. We are the proof of it.
Which part?
Find love,
Yes,
a
we
partner, a wife.
found love, as you can see by his shirt here. Happiness is being married to a Dane. That would be moi. I have the equivalent one. The happiness is being married to an Ecuadorian,
That's correct.
but it's a little chilly today, so I'm not wearing it. Anyway,
We have the sauce in the blood.
that's right. That's right. So just to start off with some statistics, I figured it would be interesting to see what do other people say. So there were two different sources. So one that we had the full all the questions to that so that we can see what people were actually being asked, and the other one is just the quick one. So on Quora, they quoted a Stanford study that shared that 40% of people that they asked had used dating apps. This other one which was a article by Pew Research Center. They discovered that out of a sample of 6,034 people,
That's a good number.
that's a pretty good size, 30% of them had used dating apps. And so now one question was, did they find that it was more of a positive or a negative effect that the fact that dating apps are out there? 59% said that it was neither a positive nor a negative effect. 22% said it was mostly a positive effect.
What that means? They just don't care.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, it's not
Yeah.
positive or negative. It's just
Whatever.
kind of neutral. It's something that's out there. It's a tool. It's a possibility, right? You know. So another one was, has online dating made finding a long-term partner or spouse more difficult or easier? And 32% said no difference. 36% said a little easier. 10% said a lot harder. So, uh, and here's another one. From their own experiences, is the dating apps, is it positive or negative? 39% said somewhat positive. 35% said somewhat negative.
Hey, that's a really good number.
Yeah,
Taking in consideration a lot of creeps out there.
right? Yeah. How many met their current spouse or a partner online? 40%.
Wow.
So,
Shocking.
almost half of this people that were asked, and how safe did they feel that it was? 46% said somewhat safe, 38% said not too safe, and 11% said not at all. So about half said that it's somewhat safe, and we're going to get into some of that of how to make it safe. Safer, yeah, not really. No. So here, should then they were asked, should dating app be required to have people do a background test, a criminal background test, before you create a profile? And 60% said yes. So that could be something that could possibly make dating apps safer. And then they were asked reasons for being online dating apps. 44% said long term, they were looking for a long term partner or a spouse. 40% said that they were looking to date casually. 24% said that they were looking for casual sex. And 22% said they were looking for new friends. So not everybody was looking for something romantic, they were looking for companionships, which also says something about, I think there are a lot of people who feel lonely out there. Now, here's, I think, a big one with which a lot of people, they are, who talk about how, well, dating online is dangerous. Let's look at what actually happened. Again, out of this one sample, because this is telling. They asked, how many of you who have been online have experienced being called an offensive name? 24% said yes, and 75% said no, it has not happened. So that's three quarters who said that it had not happened to them. How many had been threatened to be physically harmed? Uh, 93% said no. 90th percentile said no. They had not been physically threatened. How many had sent you sexually explicit messages or an image you didn't ask for? Well, that's going to be a little higher, especially these days. 38% said it had happened to them. How many people experienced people contacting you after you said you were not interested? And that was around 30%.
But the number that the people who didn't had that experience is 62%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good number.
Yeah, yeah. And when this one here where it shows based on males and females, as we could probably imagine, it was more females that experienced having sexually explicit pictures sent to them without requesting it, and having more of the continuity to contact after telling them no and being called an offensive name. But men also did experience that. So not as much as women. So with all that being said, what does that tell you?
Well, it was shocking. Apparently, I'm the only one who used the dating apps in order to grow up the
your business.
my business. That's shocking. I thought it's gonna be somebody else doing the same, but
I don't know if that's how you do it in Ecuador, but over
I
here,
never tried that.
that's what we have Chamber of Commerce for.
Well, didn't work for me as well.
It didn't work? Oh,
No.
But what did you get out of it?
Yeah, nothing.
You got nothing?
Nothing. Not even one.
No, I'm saying you got a wife out of it.
What, from dating app?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that was after. I had to shut down for a couple of years, and then I came back.
No, but you were still doing that when we met. Oh, whatever. Anyway, that's a private discussion.
That's the past.
We're a little confused here. Timelines are shifting all the time. So, yeah. Well, I think a lot of this, and you mentioned it when we were going over the statistics as we were preparing for this video, that a lot of it also has to do with your mindset going in to dating. Whether you're dating in person or online, your mindset is always going to be the main thing, right?
Definitely.
So because some people, they go in and they're still angry or bitter about their ex. How many times have you gone on dates where they're yammering on about their exes? Oh, the ex did this and the ex did that, and you had some interesting conversations with everybody except for me about what they were talking about their exes.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What?
What they share with me about the sexual experiences in the first date, I was okay.
Complaining about their ex's sexual exploitations and on the first date. I mean, on any date, really. I mean, how many times have you heard me talk about my past sexual experiences? And it's like, never. No, thank you. I think that's something to just leave where that belongs in the past.
Yeah, that was funny because, before to do this video, I asked you about if I ask you to send me pictures, and I saw the expression in your face. You become, I don't know what, something was triggered in there. I don't want to go in that, but that was an honest question. We've been chatting, we didn't met yet, and you told me that you had a bike race that morning, and I really wanted to see if you have pictures of the bike, the run, the people in there, what you got. You told me I got a medal, and you didn't share that with me. I don't know if you thought I was asking another kind of picture. That was an honest request.
No, I didn't think you were asking for a sexual kind of picture. It was just kind of, I had been dating for a while, and I was kind of like over it. I was not. I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking for somebody, but I'm you're gonna have to show up, and I'm not playing around and doing a lot of bullshit, right? Oh, so I did send you a picture of it. Wasn't a medal for being first or anything. It was just like everybody got a
Wow.
participation medal. So I sent you a picture of that, and I was kind of being tongue in cheek when I did that. It's like, yo, you want a picture? I'll give you a picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean I just mentioned about some of my attitude at the time, right? It's like had been on dating lines off and on, apps and the experiences of that and
But it's something to take in consideration.
mm-hmm,
Sorry to
mm-hmm.
interrupt. You remember that you are the one in control. You are the one who decide what to share, and you put the boundaries
Which I did.
always. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That was funny, but yeah.
um, and so which is also a reason why again if you are going into dating with that idea of although I was kind of a little worn out of dating at the time, um, I didn't I was still open. I was still open-minded. I still wanted to go out and meet people because I knew you were out there somewhere, and and I was open to meet people and see what happened when we meet in person because pictures is one thing. I mean, there were a lot of people who had old pictures that didn't even look like them anymore, right? And then there are people that you get along with when you're messaging and talking or whatever, and then you meet in person. All of a sudden, that's you get a whole different kind of person, a whole different kind of vibe. So the real test is when you meet in person, and that's what I was still open to because I wanted to build what we have built over the past 5 years. Um, and if you don't get your mindset clear and heal, at least for the most part, your past relationships, you are so much more likely to recreate that. You're going to show up in the dating situations like you were talking about a friend of yours or a coworker of yours.
Oh yeah.
Share that real quick.
Yeah, that was this this guy. Uh, I didn't thought he was single, and then he started to talk about this new person that he was meeting, and she says, this person is from one of the um, island countries, and I said, oh, be careful, because my past experience, but it's not need to be your experience, right? So don't take it that with you. And he was telling me how this person, um, if he wants to see his phone, that triggers something in this person, and she's always trying to see what's going on, who are you talking to, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And again, an example of how apparently this person, this woman, has had some experiences of probably partners cheating on her. And where does it happen? On the phone, right? So the phone can be a huge trigger for a lot of people. And so we, when we are out there in a committed relationship or if we're dating, it's really important for us to pay attention to what are my triggers because only I can do something about my triggers. I can communicate with you and say, "Hey, I know and you may have realized that this is one of my triggers, so maybe you can help me, but it is my responsibility to do my healing." That I have to then, it's usually a fear of rejection, it's a fear of being hurt, and then we start to um, react in a way to protect ourselves, which eventually if I were to show up like that in our relationship, every time you pick up your phone and who you talking to, what's going on, what, because it's already like I'm accusing you of doing something
Yeah.
wrong when you're not. You're just scrolling through Facebook or and talking to your
Well,
family or whatever.
something like that, especially when you're dating, is
Yeah,
just gonna push the other person away. That's
absolutely.
that's a red flag right there.
Or they stay, and it's the beginning of a long descent. It can be a long, slow descent or a long, fast descent.
Definitely.
Yep. Um, so that is super important to do your work in every situation because that's also where you were just talking about. Uh, Apparently, there's a YouTube channel. It's called Tinder Nightmares, and these are the things that happen when you don't when you don't do your healing, when you don't figure out what is clear for you. You shared when we were talking about a story you heard.
Some of those
Tragic.
experiences ended in being a tragedy.
Yeah.
Not fun. Someone was hurt. So be proactive.
Well,
And
tell the story.
oh well, that's happens and this couple just met and they ended in his apartment doing drinks and drugs, and at some point she wanted to leave the apartment and the guy didn't open the door for her. So long story short, she ended trying to escape from the balcony without realizing there was a 20-story building, and she died.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's a whole long list of uh, failure, making mistakes on a first date for sure.
Yeah, that's something that you don't gonna do it in the first date. I mean,
Yeah.
as
Go
I
to
said,
somebody's house.
be proactive, protect yourself, and remember you are in control. You are the one who set up the limits, the boundaries. All right, this is what we're gonna do today. This is the time that I have, and always try to communicate with somebody else. What are you doing, or where you gonna be, in order to help you with your safety.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so, so just to kind of real quick wrap up, I think first of all, when people they say that dating apps are dangerous, again we could see from the statistics of that one sample that 90% had not had physical threats, and less had had verbal, being called a name or whatever. But my whole thing is that uh, people cheating, yeah, there's people cheating on their spouses, people, ending up in relationships where there's domestic violence, uh, serial killers, they have been around since long before we had internet and dating apps and whatnot. So it's not a new concept that people have been able to, people have dated and married people that from friends that they knew that ended up as horrible marriages and disasters. So it's not the part about being online or not. It just as people they will talk about how marriage is a terrible thing. No, it's not marriage that there's anything wrong with. It's who were the two people who were in the marriage, who were you married to, and who were you in that marriage that makes a difference. So
Dating is supposed to be fun. That's what I think. So I had a date with this girl. So we met in a restaurant, and she, it was funny. I'm a former police officer, so there's a person we start to talk and such, and she was an ex-con. So she was in jail because drugs, and it was fun. I mean, we had a really interesting conversation. So at the end, she says, I never had experience. Nobody paid the check for me. So I walked through her car, opened the door, and says, "Damn, I never had this experience." So I never saw her again, but we had a good time.
yeah,
And that's it.
yeah,
We
yeah.
had fun.
And that whole, I love how you bring that out, because that's the thing is that if you've never been treated a certain way, as in a positive way, that's where your expectations are, right?
Correct.
Then you think all men are like that. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you totally open the door for a whole new world for her just by showing up as being a respectful gentleman.
Oh yeah.
You are. I can attest to that. For 5 years together, and he still opens the car door for me, which I'd never had that done before either. Not, once in a while, but not consistently. So, yes, you are definitely a gentleman. And that is the other thing of, if you haven't had the experience, it's hard to believe that this can happen. Um, yeah.
Yeah, someone is out there waiting for you. Someone good. You
Mm.
deserve what something that you can manifest. Just do the work.
Yeah, on yourself so that you can show up as that best person. And that was one of the things that I had to say. I just thought, I think some people are also more relationship oriented, which I definitely am, and you definitely are. And
I thought I'm not, but yeah.
your history shows you are. and, and for me, no matter what my experiences were, I always knew that it turned out to be you, were out there. And I always knew, even if I hadn't had the experience of being with someone like you that is totally such a perfect, equally yoked partner, um, was out there. But I don't know, there was just something innate in me, maybe in my DNA, maybe in my karma. My soul was telling me that, yeah, you're out there, and I'm just wasn't gonna stop looking until I found you. So there we are.
Right.
So, as you were mentioning about being proactive, so there are a lot of things that we can do to make sure that we are going to be safe. And now, one of the things I was suggesting would be to get clear for yourself what it is that you're looking for. Who is the person that you're looking for? And not focus just on the external things, because oh, he's got to be 6'5" and he's got to be in finances and whatever. Well, what does that have to do with how he's going to treat you? Nothing. So what is that relationship going to be like emotionally? What are the things that you're looking for? Be clear about your first several meetings at what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. I would even write it out, even if it's in bullet points. Okay, we're going to meet in a public place, not at the person's home like that with the Tinder Nightmare did. That's a big giant no. I mean, that's almost self-explanatory. Don't use drugs or.
I believe they didn't meet in his apartment. They met in a bar, in a restaurant. So they ended being in his apartment. Which
Yeah.
is,
Yeah. So don't go there, especially in the beginning. Don't use drugs or alcohol, obviously. Well, I mean, if it's one drink or something, but you got to keep your mind straight. You have to be clear mind. So oftentimes it's probably really great idea if you can meet for coffee somewhere. Meet at a coffee shop, right? Obviously meet in a public place.
and that's a smart way to do it. Coffee doesn't take that much, so you can run away quick.
Right? It's like, oh, geez, look at the time. I have another meeting somewhere. And set the expectations for this other person that you get ready to meet. It's like, oh, I don't do, alcohol or whatever. How about a coffee or something like that? And, make it casual. We'll just kind of have a meet and greet and set the expectations that we're not going to be having sex. It's not going to be a wild escapade. And that will also be a deterrent for people that are looking for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people they have their trackers on anyway, so if you share your location with people that love you, that love you, and let them know, hey, I'm going on a date, we're going this place, and I'll give you a call afterwards or whatever, right?
That's gonna help for sure.
Those are the main things. And
I heard one of I don't remember where it was a police officer say, if you are going to a date, why if you ask the guy, hey, let's meet at the police station and see the reaction.
right,
That could be something.
right? Yeah. When you first mentioned it before when we were talking about doing this episode, at first I was like, huh? I mean, I understand the thing, but I thought you meant to stay there.
No.
It's like, what, you're gonna hang out in the parking lot the whole time? Like, take a stroll around the police station. But it was just to meet there and then go from there.
Yeah.
Also, just to see their reaction. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, they are looking for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be something.
Yeah. So Anyway, let us know what are some of your experiences. Have you found love online? I actually worked with a couple one time that she went online. She went on a date with somebody, and that was the only person she went on a date with. They fell in love. They got married, and that was it. That was a one and done. So yeah, that worked out well for them. Yeah. So let us know what are your experiences. What are your positive experiences? What are some of the things you've learned from doing that? If you have been on dating apps or not, people you know who've been on them or not, and yeah. Um, Otherwise, share, subscribe, like all the things. And outside of that,
See you at the next one.
go out and shine your beautiful inner light. We will see you next time.